Thank you for joining us. Talk to us about this fund and its expectations, but also its importance and its timeline. How will this fund stay sustainable and be replenished? And especially, how will it attract more private and development capital to avoid being a one-off financing effort?
Thank you. Thank you very much for the opportunity. This fund has been one of the pivotal announcements of what we are having as the Luanda Financing Infrastructure Summit. The priority was to really assess mechanisms of financing infrastructure on the African continent, being mindful that we've got a huge infrastructure deficit and infrastructure gap. We've been talking about for many, many years to say we need minimum $100 billion per annum between now and 2030, which is around the corner, to close our infrastructure gap. So this summit was really then to say, let's bring the financiers in the room and strategic partners that are also assisting us to co-invest in our investment, in our infrastructure. The pledges that were made, the example being the fund, are certainly going to take us a step away. The plan is to convene the next one 2 years from now to allow for sizable progress to be realized, because as you know, infrastructure projects are not immediate, right? The planning, the preparation, the deployment. But we intend that when we call you back again in 2027, we have credible story to tell and real tangible deliverables. The priority, of course, being the corridors that we have amplified under the Program for Infrastructure Development in Africa. Is only through corridor investments and transboundary projects that we can truly, really integrate the continent.
Commissioner, African leaders here, they emphasized digital connectivity as the backbone of a truly integrated continent. How does the AU plan to fast-track a single African digital market and the digital infrastructure needed to support this?
So we, in December, finalized the African Union AI strategy. We also have specific strategies on data security, child online safety, a myriad of aspects that have to do with the digital agenda. But we're also mindful that at a concrete level, we do need to invest in digital infrastructure. The issue of data centers are quite critical, because right now Africa still exports all of its data, it gets processed elsewhere and comes back to the continent. And it takes us back to the bigger need of energy, because you can't have a data center without energy. So it's an integrated way of delivering infrastructure. And we launched now under the auspices of G20 AI for Africa initiative. That is also going to enable us to begin to infuse and inculcate some of these principles of data governance, data sovereignty, crowding in the investments that are required for the deployment of AI across our member states.
Commissioner, lastly, China is the continent's largest trading partner. When we look at what China has achieved and now its 15-year plan, can Africa try and replicate this feat?
China, and not just rapid but deliberate as well, deliberate growth across the board, policies, infrastructure, skills, etc., is really a marvel for majority of the world to observe and to learn from, and where possible to replicate. And as you mentioned, China has been a strategic partner and present on the African continent for quite a number of years. So we are looking to those peer learnings, right? And seeing how, as best as possible, we can replicate the success stories and have candid conversations about what works and what doesn't work, being mindful that we are 55 countries. China is one country, as it were, although size-wise and population size, we're the same. So the dynamics will differ, but indeed, China stands to really share some great lessons of growth and integration for the African continent.